Greetings all, Shane Bruce, Restomod Daisy with a long-form video today.
We're back.
That's right. Guess what, kids? My long-lost camera girl is back for a couple of days to help out me and Mrs. Restomod as a result of her recent medical treatment. And in the meantime, while we're tending to her needs, we're going to tend to some other needs as well. What we're doing today is we're going to put together a Daisy Model 99. It's been in for rework and reassessment. It's a two-gun deal. Back here at the back is the other gun. This is a Daisy Model 1998. And the client has agreed to go with the Goin to Town finish, which is just basically a brushed steel. You knock the paint off with a wire wheel, and then you coarse wire wheel, and then freshen it up with a softer wire wheel. There's the roll stamp as part of tradition here. And here's a new item. This is a 1938 Red Ryder, so it's a Rogers, Arkansas production gun, but it's prior to the advent of the plastic trigger. And there was some controversy last week about, let's run down this way, the BB feed port. Yes, this one has a BB feed port, which a lot of people thought wasn't introduced by Daisy until they transitioned to the plastic trigger guns that had the one-piece shot tube abutment assembly. But here we have one, a 1938 that does have a BB viewport. And to further complicate things, we'll be looking at this gun in more detail later, but this is a Daisy 99. I think it's a Victor Comptometer gun, yeah. But you'll notice it has no viewport anywhere along the top of the receiver, oddly enough. But it is, in fact, a Rogers, Arkansas build, same time frame, basically, as this 1938. Okay, that's a difference between the 1938 and the Model 99. Here's another thing we learned while working on this particular gun. It has the adjustable peep sight rear, and it's got you have the ability to slide it left or right for windage adjustment, and it also has a knurled knob and a bracket to allow you to get vertical adjustment, not just horizontal. You can adjust it in both axes. Now, this particular gun, you'll notice, has a welded rear sight flange and the older style elevation adjustment that was common to the Model 19, the Model 98s. I've seen it on a couple of those. But it is a little different from the Victor Comptometer gun because this one does not have a welded front sight bracket. Instead, it's attached with a screw that can be loosened to allow you to shift it. But to change the elevation on it, it has a nut attached to the back side of the peep sight, and it rides inside this L-shaped bracket. All right, I've seen more of these on a 99 than I've seen of these. And one of the issues with this particular gun was that the rear sight was wobbling around loose because this part was missing. And basically, I have another gun in the inventory that uses the same type of adjustable rear sight. So I popped that part off and just fabbed up this replacement. 16 gauge steel, a couple of bends, a couple of holes, a little tweaking, some filing. Bang, you've got a part that works. So we're going to go ahead and install this now. Let me get on the other side of the bench and show you how it goes on, because it's a little different from the other Model 99. So here we have a Model 99 and a Model 99, and they have differences. All right, to get this installed, you've got to put this small flange here at the bottom, which you'll notice is at a slight angle. Has to go in, oops, like so. So you stick this piece on like that, and then you thread your peep sight through that hole, and it mates up with the, sooner or later will mate up with the hole in the tab, and then you just kind of thread it on. Well, you don't kind of thread it on, you thread it on. I'm going to have to cheat you over to the left so I can see what I'm doing.
Wow.
Because it's always fiddly bits. Yeah, there we go. All right, so now, here's the weird part. This looks all loose and wobbly, and it is loose and wobbly, until you get this threaded down enough to secure that bracket. But once you get it in there, if we can get it in there, boy, it feels like it's cross-threaded on me. Yeah, that's bad news. Let's see, come on. You're so clean in rehearsal. There we go. All right. No, we still get down to the same pivot point. Well, that's going to take some modding. Well, kids, you just have to trust me because, hold it. Let me make sure the threads aren't just all jumped out. That looks good. Anyway, basically the idea is that once you thread it all the way in, it locks this bracket in the frame. Boy, that just can't be more obstinate, can it?
No, it's being difficult. You have the right one?
Yeah. Oh, I think I cross-threaded it.
Oh.
Well, that's all right. We'll just make a correction here.
Mm-hmm.
A little more horsepower.
Oh, okay.
And rethread it.
Thinks it can be threaded on you. You rethread it on?
Yeah. Well, we may have to make a mod there, but it's just so the viewership understands
the concept.
The concept of how it's supposed
to work. No.
How it's supposed to work. This little bit fits in like so, and when you've got it tight, it snugs this up so that it can't wiggle. So that way you can set your adjustment, lock it in, and you've got the ability to adjust your windages as well as your elevation. That's how that will work. So in terms of the reassembly of the 99, I guess we'll work on that a little later. But we're going to go ahead and put the guts of the 9 back together because we have one more item of interest on 99s to cover before we slap this thing back together and put the wood stock on it. All right. This particular gun came with this .499 target trigger. This target trigger, if we'll take a look at the backside here, let me get my additional illumination light. All right, you see that little coil spring down there?
Yes, that
one there. This is a later iteration of this target trigger that went to a coil spring. Let's go over here and take a look at our other unit. The original, same shield, I mean the same body style, same layout, same part, had a different spring. Instead of a coil spring, it has this leaf spring. And these guns can be problematic because those leaf springs tend to break. Being a leaf spring, it's not as stout as a coil spring. You'll notice the orientation of the leaf spring. If you ever encounter one of these and you have to replace it, when you go to stick this thing back inside, now I've got another video on how to do this, so I'm not going to try to replicate that on this particular video. But just be advised, some 94 Model 99s with target triggers will have this sort of spring, and some 99s with target triggers will have the coil spring version. I guess we get our additional light.
Yeah.
Additional lighting. We'll have the coil spring version. Of the two, the coil spring versions seem to present less trouble than the leaf spring versions. Okay, just to note that. So that would be something you would want. If you were looking at a 99, you'd like to get the later target trigger, has less trouble. And it's a pretty simple system. The plunger assembly comes to the rear, kicks that up, engages the sear, pulls the trigger, you pull the trigger, the sear drops, the gun fires. And these have really good triggers. I mean, they're worth chasing after for the triggers. Rex Wasaki has modded a 1938 to take one of these. That's one of his special mods that he does. All right, so now that we've blathered on about that for a bit and failed on our install on the PEEP site, we're going to go ahead and put the trigger unit back in. It's a bit wiggly. You'll notice that there's 2 sets of nubs on either side of this trigger body. They fit into the receiver and help position the trigger on this interior barrel shroud. Can you see that, or do you need additional?
Yeah, no, we can see that.
Okay, so it's going to slide back, basically slide in like so, and you'll have to do some fiddling and whittling because it's a daisy and it's a trigger, and naturally nothing ever goes as smoothly as you want it to. Yeah, because you need 3 hands. So anyway, you get them in. See how it slides up and makes you think it's going to be simple from here. But once you finally get it in place, let's see, and now I have to block your view so I can see what I'm doing.
Yeah. Do you need the vise?
No. There we go. All right, so no, we're not there yet. We got to get, I'm going to show you this real quick before we get in. There's this little pin. That pin right there, this one, gets in the way of doing the install because it sticks out on each side, and this thing has to slide inside this groove.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a bit of a fussing to get that done. So once again, get it oriented so the trigger's up, take it to the rear. You want your bumps to be below this piece of metal that's standing up, but you still have to get that by it. So that's where it gets to be a force fit.
Okay.
So you get this wiggled in.
Yeah, wiggle it in and I'll take a step back for you.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
You're good.
So I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so now I'm binding on that silly pin.
Yeah, that'll happen. Oh, hold on.
Okay, so now that you got that done, you have to push the trigger unit forward until you can see clearly through the mounting hole. So,
Okay.
see,
Yep.
And then we'll take a look at the back side so you can see how the. I guess I need a little pointer. See how the nubs fit below the track. See how the nubs there? They go below the track, but the little pin has to slide through the gap here.
Yeah.
And if you hit the lip of the pin, you don't get it just
Throw
right.
some light
It'll
on
be a
that
wiggly.
real quick. So it's.
Oh, that's much better.
Yeah. Wow. All right. I need you to lower your light a little bit though. Thank you.
Here, I'll go
All
above.
right.
See the
there
little
you go.
nubs we were talking about?
Yeah.
They go below the track, but the pin that offers interference has to go through the track.
Yes.
And once you get it in and get it lined up,
perfect.
all you do is take your trigger bolt, drop it down through there, grab your glue driver,
Pull it back.
and attach that.
Twist, twist, twist.
Now, on the 99s, you will probably not find a nut on the backside because there just isn't enough thread to engage right there. So there's not a nut there. Sometimes you'll see them. I haven't seen many on the 99s, but I think I've seen one. Maybe that was a 98. The wide bodies have a lot of variation. All right, so our trigger is now reinstalled. Now, before we did the, we've already got the plunger assembly, the spring stop, all that stuff's in the gun, so we're not going to have to worry about fiddling with that. Next step is we're going to slap our lever. Let's talk about this. You'll notice that this lever does not have the full frill, and I believe that's because this is in a 99, and I think the frill would probably interfere with the action of the trigger. You know, it just doesn't actually fit. This is like the second one of these I've seen. I think the other was on a Model 94, though, so I don't know. It might have just been an iteration or a change in the way Daisy was doing it. So get your lever installed. It's a 3-star, though. That's cool. And drop that lever bolt in. Slide that down. Run it in. Don't cross-thread it. That can be trouble. I'll have to retap that one. So there's another delay in getting the job done. All right, so now we've got the receiver assembly put back together. What we're going to do is stick the stocks on it. The owner decided to stay with the original stock, which is cool. When we got it in on a receiving video, it had a lot of dry wood in various and sundry spots on the gun because of just regular wear and tear. So what I did was use some Danish oil, put a coat of Danish oil on it, let it suck in where the exposed wood was so that there's now some protection on it. Also levels out the color and look of the stock. Same with the dings and dents that the gun had. They were really apparent, but now that they've had a Danish oil treatment, they've toned down a little bit, and there is some protection for the wood involved. Now, this gun was a little unusual as well because not all the stock attachment screws didn't match. 2 of them were Phillips tips like this, and 2 of them were slot tips like that. And I believe, if memory serves me correctly, the slot tip screws were on the forearm and the Phillips tip screws were on the stock. So we're going to stick those back on. Like any other days, you just kind of slide it in, line it up. But because it's a 99 and it's a wide body, they did not use a through bolt. What they used was 2 wood screws. So we're going to go ahead and install those. Now this is a brushed steel finish gun now, which means it has no paint, no blue. It doesn't have to stay that way. And one of the reasons we're putting it together today is to be able to send some videoage to the owner to see if he wants to go this approach, or if he wants to paint it, or if he wants to fire blue it. Now, here's the other stinky thing about the 99s. They use a drive pin to attach the front arm through this slot right there. So that can be a little dinky. So normally, if you're not putting a new stock on it, what you want to do is put the stock in, line up the holes for the stock screws, with the assumption that when the factory built the gun, the pin was in the right position. That's what we're going to start with. When we do the reinstall, we finish tapping that down, we will find out if we were correct. And this is going to have to be a slot tip. Handy dandy little tool or little Klein. You can swap your tips. And not only can you swap your tips, you got two sizes of tips to play with, because that first piece pops out. Oh, look at that secret.
Ah.
And guess what? Secret.
Whoa.
Jimmy got this for me. I really like this screwdriver.
Nice.
Well, it's like 4 screwdrivers in one. Let's get a little brace up here so our pin doesn't
slap on the cardboard.
Yeah, make trouble like the rear sight did.
Yeah,
I tell you. So we'll get this slipped in. So it's not all janky. Now, what we're going to do here is support the barrel. Push that up.
Side,
yeah. Push that up with the strength of 1,000 men. And just tap that down.
Wow. Trust in the company.
When you get to that right there, you stop. And you want to get a pin. And this is a little big for the finish job, but it's enough to get to where I want to be. And then I will use a nail to drive that through the rest of the way.
Oh, nice.
It's flush, but we want it a little more than flush.
You want it in?
Yeah, and to do that, we're going to use the patented Restomod.
How do you get these nails out?
Well, you
flip it around.
You flip it around and drive it out from the inside.
Push it the other way.
So what you do is you get a small nail that's the same size, grind the tip off so that it's a cheap punch, and now we just tap it gently until we get it to where we want it to be, which is recessed. So now it's not catching, because when you're shooting a target gun, you got to be smooth.
Yeah, you don't want to catch on anything.
That's right, and it's recessed on both sides.
Oh, okay.
All right. So now we're ready for the purpose of the video for the customer.
Yeah.
The general public here has had the opportunity to get some exposure to Daisy 99 parts and maladies. What we're going to do here is we're going to let him have an eyeball on it. See, this is dual purpose. I don't have to shoot a special video just for the customer. Let me get this thing stuck on there.
Oh, I did the whole band, dog.
Well, hang on.
Oh, you the other parts.
Yeah, the part that don't fit.
Part that don't fit.
That don't fit right. Yeah.
You gotta re-screw it.
No, I just want to get it hung on there.
I respect it.
Just for looks.
Fiddly bits and whatnot.
Oh, look at that! Now it's behaving.
Well,
son of a bitch. All right, now watch this. All right, so now it's on. So we loosen it up, and we can shift our windage. And when we get our windage right, we're going to assume that center is always best.
Yeah.
You snug it up, and she's snug.
See, that's what we meant, people. We weren't lying.
It does work.
It works.
I swear to God.
Just, not when we wanted to.
Right. So now we have the $4.99. Yeah, back out because it's awesome. In the brushed silver.
Wow.
And here's the concept. This is the brace of guns. These two guns belong together. They're going to go to the same home together. Oh, let me get the shot tube in.
Wow.
There we go. Now
Come on now.
Ready. These are ready to run. We're going to shoot this one later today.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go. There's 2 Goin to town finish Restomod Daisies. Almost ready to head back to the house and provide their owner with endless hours of shooting enjoyment. Hopefully, kids, you learned something today about Daisy Model 99 triggers and Daisy Model 99 adjustable rear sights. I sure learned something because I didn't know those two differences existed. The top gun is a full-blown Restomod complete with a stock set. The bottom gun is a Restomod because it's got a hopped-up power plant, a refreshed set of wooden stocks, and the Restomod Goin to town finish. When you want your flashy gun when you go hang out down at the drugstore with the rest of the guys. Kids, that's all we've got for you today. This is Restomod Daisy signing off.